The Anyone But Cam Fantasy Football Podcast.
Welcome back to Season 2, Episode 4 of the Anyone But Cam Fantasy Football Podcast. I am one of your hosts and one of your commissioners. My name is Frankie, and sitting right next to me is Cam. Cam, how's it going?
Well, yesterday, we're recording this on Friday, just so everyone knows.
Yes.
We're watching some high-level football between the Titans and Jaguars, featuring the best quarterback in that matchup, Gardner Minshew. Way better than any Oregon prospect.
Okay.
Anyways, and I was just watching Leonard Fournette have 15 carries for like -8 yards, and it was a great time. And then he just has to break off that 69 yard run to finish with 66 total rushing yards on the day. It was tilting a little bit, but it was a good day.
I mean, prior to that run, it looked like he was making a bid for the Bum Squad.
Oh, yeah, Bum Squad. We'll get to that later.
We'll get to that later. Before that, we're going to talk about a couple things. We're going to have a fun news segment to start off the podcast. I don't even know what it's going to be. Cam's going to lead me through it in a second here. Then we're going to talk about the waivers, of course, do week in review, a week preview, and then we'll do a mailbag like usual. How's that sound to you, Cam?
Sounds good.
All right, let's get going with what you have this week. Start us off.
All right, so this week, it's been a rough week for Steelers fans.
No, it hasn't.
Okay.
What are you talking about? We got Minka Fitzpatrick, and we have the best quarterback in the history of football.
Okay, so this is what I was here to talk about. Is you're still very high on the Steelers this season, huh, Frank?
Well, of course. We're storming the Bay this weekend, and then we're gonna roll over. I think next week after that we have Baltimore, and Lamar Jackson is
a god.
Yeah, okay.
Well, he's got
maybe.
a good wide receiver.
Yeah, well, okay. Well, all right, let's go.
Anyways, so I was wondering if I could put that confidence to the test.
Oh, no.
Would you bet me that at the end of the season, the Steelers would have a better record than the Lions?
I might have to pull up the schedules to do that. Let's do that real quick. All right, looking at the Lions schedule here. So we got, so we had a tie week one, didn't actually lose. Well, that's a wrinkle in the plan already.
That means we probably won't tie at the end of the season.
I don't know if that's how that works, but okay. Just let's going down here. You got the Eagles, in Philadelphia, hosting the Chiefs by Packers, Vikings, Giants. Got some. I don't know. This seems a pretty decent schedule. I wouldn't say it's like terribly hard or terribly difficult or easy overall. I'm gonna take a look at let's take a gander at the Pittsburgh Steelers schedule as well. Which, yeah, we have the Bengals next week, then Baltimore. That's fun. Chargers, Miami. Oh Jesus Christ! Would I bet you that they're gonna have a better? Of course I would. It's always been a long flow. I don't even care what the Lions schedule is. Of course they're gonna have a better schedule. We have the best quarterback in the history of the National Football League, in Mason Rudolph. He invented football.
Frankie, I thought you were supposed to save all the mind-altering substances for when you go to the club this weekend.
Well, I have to take those before Steelers games this season.
So I was thinking we can make this a hat bet, where the loser has to buy someone else a hat for their team.
A hat?
Yeah.
That's all we're betting?
Okay, fine. You have something better?
No, a hat's great.
Yeah.
Okay, so put it on the board. We have a hat bet. And if they have what if they have the same record?
We'll each get each other a hat.
We'll get each other
both
a hat.
lost.
We both lost. So that means the Steelers have to tie a game, though.
Yeah.
So if the Steelers have more wins, you buy me a hat. The Lions have more wins, I buy you a hat. All right, sounds good to me. I mean, do we count playoff games too? Because we're winning the Super Bowl.
Yes, we count playoff games.
Awesome. Okay, this is the easiest bet of my life. The easiest bet of my life. Alrighty, let's. Was that everything?
Yeah.
Alrighty, let's move on now to the waivers here. Waivers recap. I guess really one or two. Well, I guess a couple big ticket items this week. Peyton Barber, number one, goes to Tyler Walker for $70. 36 more dollars than the next highest bid, which was Dylan at $34. Seems like an awful lot for me, although Peyton Barber did definitely perform quite significantly better in that second game. But to me, that backfield is not something that's very predictable at this point, and I don't see it changing anytime soon. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, like, if you told me that I could have Hollywood Brown for $69 or Peyton Barber for $70, it's a pretty easy choice for me.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like Peyton Barber's fine for a bye week fill-in, maybe a low-end flex option, but that's a lot of money for one of those, Tyler.
Yeah, and a bit of an overbid as well. Speaking of overbids, we have Devin, who bids $42 on Nelson Aguilar. The next highest bid was Logan here at $16. Quite a bit of an overbid as well. We've seen that. It's been kind of a pattern so far. People are really overbidding for some of these guys. And of all players to overbid for, Barber and Aguilar probably aren't my two first choices.
Yeah, I mean, at least Barber might have some value throughout the season, but Aguilar, once D-Jax and Alshon Jeffrey come back, are pretty pointless.
Yeah.
I have no idea why Devin would spend more money on him than DeMarcus Robinson,
Yeah.
who could or will probably be more productive in the short term when Devin needs him to fill in for some injuries.
Yeah, for sure. Moving on right then to DeMarcus Robinson. Logan gets him for $36, only a $14 overpay as over Devin there, who just barely had bid Dylan as well. That would have been a close one. If not for Logan, I think it's probably the best pickup so far of the waivers for sure, considering we see what, Patrick Mahomes receivers can do, especially with Sammy not really doing anything last weekend. Tyreek Hill's still going to be out for a couple more weeks.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Robinson's definitely going to be someone that you can put in your lineup and just hope he catches the long ball.
Yeah. And then another overpay here. Tyler overpays another $25 for Jimmy G. I guess, I know that the people have been talking about firing up their 49ers defense against Mason Rudolph and their offense against the Steelers this week. Personally, I'm not super seeing it, especially with hopefully, we'll see, but hopefully Minka Fitzpatrick can make an instant impact in the secondary. But, yeah, I don't know, $25 for a quarterback of Jimmy G, who hasn't been great, and I don't know, I just, do you have any take on it?
I did not think Tyler was tilting this hard after losing one game on the season, man, you spent half your fab. I guess I did that too, but I was tilting there.
Alrighty, and then I guess only other big ticket items here is Greg spent $15 on Jason Witten, which is like, why? I don't know. And then I wasted it's about $6 on James Washington, who already has a pretty good rapport with Mason Rudolph. I thought was a pretty good pickup on my end here. And then since we're recording a little bit later, I guess we can look into the other stuff here. Will Disley, Devin Smith. Oh, Devin Smith to me. I was surprised no one bet on Devin Smith this week, especially with the injured Michael Gallup. But okay, I'll take him. And then Dede coming back to Jake's team. Yeah, did he do anything last night? Do we know?
I think he was fine. He dropped a lot of passes.
7.5 points for a 9 targets. That's not bad at all. And then the only other thing, nothing really else besides repeat of Jordan Wilkins this morning. But yeah, that's about it for the waivers.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let's move on here to our weekend review. We're going to do the same thing we did last week of winners and losers, although this week, Cam's going to take the winners. I'm going to take the losers. And I guess you should start off then with our first winner of the week.
Yeah, and surprise, surprise, first winner of the week is Levi. Looking at Levi's team, Godwin and Eckler right now are looking like probably two of the top draft day values.
Yeah.
And he got both of them. Both, definitely top 12 players of their position so far in the season. And then he's got two pieces of the Chiefs offense, and Travis Kelce and Sammy Watkins being probably the best offense in the league.
Yeah.
It's a lot of good stuff for Levi. The only negatives I really see for him there are some short-term concerns with Michael Thomas with that Breeze injury, but if AB still plays, there's a lot going on with him right now. Don't even know what's happening.
Yeah.
He could easily fill that void for Michael Thomas right now.
Yeah, what can be said about Levi's team? It's a strong roster for sure. And like you said, it's some of the best draft day values. Travis Kelce went off this week too, which is what you like to see from him. But yeah, nothing else too big from Levi's team besides for it's just pretty solid. And I have the loser from that game, Justin. His Rams are pretty much the only ones who did anything on his team this week. Everyone pretty much underperformed. Damon Williams exits the game, or not, right, or is goes into the next week of practice with a knee injury. He didn't practice yesterday, and he didn't practice this morning either. And he doesn't have Darwin Thompson on his team. He has the other one on his team, the other backup, whose name I'm forgetting right now, Darrell Williams. And I don't think he's going to get a significant role, especially with Shady there too. So yeah, good luck this week, Justin, I guess. Also, we'll get to that a little bit later. Well, because you have Ingram. Ingram's still startable. But we'll get to it later. But Justin has some other tough matchups this week going into week 3.
All right, and the other Rotlack matchup, we had Greg being victorious over Dylan, leaving Dylan as, I think, the only 0-2 team in our league.
No, we have another one, don't we?
Do we?
Yeah, I think we have 2 0-2 teams. I think like Lassie, right?
No.
Or yeah, Lassie 0-2.
Oh, poor Lassie.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, Greg clutched out this victory on Monday night. I was watching it with Dylan. Dylan had the Browns defense playing the Jets, and by the fourth quarter, my man was on all fours, begging, pleading the defense to just get a sack on the backup quarterback, and he loses by less than a point. Heartbreaker.
Yeah.
But some positives for Greg's team, looking it over. Both Boyd and Ridley are being really productive this season and on high volume passing offenses, so that's probably pretty good for Greg's team. Kind of the opposite of that for Diggs, though. He's not been productive, and his offense is not passing, like, at all. I hate to see that. And then one other concern for Greg's team is his first-round pick, Joe Mixon, has some injury concerns this season, and his O-line is not looking good.
Yeah.
Looking at Greg's team, not a lot of high-quality flex options. He started Mohamed Sanu this week, who got 3.6 points, and he left Austin Siebert on his bench, the kicker, who got 13 points. So I think Greg has a legitimate argument to pull out that kicker flex this week.
Yeah, for sure. I'll get when I'm previewing Greg's matchup this week, so we'll talk a little bit later about some of his stuff with Mixon. But yeah, some really high volume for Ridley, which I think we were both a little bit lower on Calvin Ridley going into the season. So it's good to see that for Greg. I have the loser in this matchup, of course, which is Dylan, Cam Newton, Omega lol. And we off the roster immediately, as we all saw. I mean, I can't duck on him too much. I also felt the pain of Cam Newton in our dynasty league. But there's an injury to Connor as well, James Conner. He seemed to be fine, immediately checked out, and the X-rays were all fine. But he did lose Ben Roethlisberger, so let's see how it affects the entire offense. Especially like how his usage specifically in like the pass game, because that could change very well, as very much as well. As everything else on Dylan's team, I don't have a whole lot of other positives, unfortunately, for Dylan's team. My biggest takeaway from Dylan's team is if I'm Dylan, I know he's been throwing around some trades, but I think he really needs to start trading some pieces away. He actually showed me a couple of trades when we were hanging out the other night, and like he's willing to really just fleece his team with, because I think he needs to make some big moves now if he wants to stay competitive. I mean, he was the 12th and the 11th scorers in week 1 and 2, and he gets to play against Levi this week, which we will definitely get to. But I don't have a whole lot of positives for Dylan right now.
It's a big drop off from our former champion.
Yeah, that is true.
Oof. And moving on, we have your victory this week. Over
I'm the best.
Sure. Over the man Lassie. And looking over your team, L-Jax plus Andrews equals deadly. You know what I'm saying? That's the math right there. At least with the 2 matchups they've had so far, they're both going off. And then Odell looks pretty good this season. Got that long touchdown. That's what he's known for, though. That's good for him.
Yeah.
And then Deebo Samuel, looks like the most productive wide receiver in that 49ers offense. That's pretty good.
Yep.
Some concerns, though. Juju obviously losing Ben. You just don't know how that will affect him. He's been pretty solid floor so far this season, and we'll see if he can keep it up with backup.
Yeah.
And then starting RBs, man. Oof.
I've been saying this, but I definitely think this is the bounce back week for Devontae Freeman. Philip Lindsay. That's another story. I really thought he was going to take 70% of the backfield. Maybe it will get to that point eventually, but the other guy who will not be named has been really excellent as well, and he is a great player. But I just thought that Philip Lindsay would just be used more in the passing game, if anything. I guess they really just don't want to put both of them in the lineup on the field at the same time ever, which I don't know. Doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. Other than that, my only other underperformer, I believe, last week was Robert Woods, who only ends up coming away with 2 receptions on 2 targets, but he also had 3 or 4 different catches called back on penalty that didn't involve him. So like, what are you gonna do? Like, yeah, I'm not so concerned about that. But I will now talk about the loser of this matchup, which was Lassie. He had good weeks from his running backs in both Aaron Jones and Saquon, and a great week from Emmanuel Sanders as well. But everyone else is pretty much meh. Mike Evans hasn't done pretty much anything this season. Edelman didn't have a whole lot going for him. I didn't watch the New England game, but it didn't have a whole lot going for him. I guess so they just didn't feel a need to.
Yeah,
I don't
they
know.
were playing the Dolphins.
Yeah. And then same thing for Josh Gordon. I remember we talked about last week that the scariest people on the team for last against me was Saquon and then the two Patriots wide receivers, and they did not a whole lot. So I ended up coming away with the win, but Manny did bring up some of that slack. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it for my takes on Lassie's team this week. Yeah.
Yeah.
Alrighty, moving on.
All right, and now going to our last week's matchup of the week, correct? Between JP and Logan, and it did not disappoint. Both teams scoring, or another game that was decided by less than a single point, and the game actually got decided when Logan took the lead with Le'Veon Bell on Monday night, and then proceeded to lose it when he fumbled away the win for Logan, not the win for the Jets, because they were already going to lose, right after Logan put in some celebratory gifts. So, knock on wood, you're with me, Logan. But looking at JP's team, Patrick Mahomes is just ridiculous. Like, how is he still so productive? 4 touchdowns again this week. Other takeaways from JP's team, all his wide receivers are very involved in their offense, which is good for him. Keenan Allen got like 15 targets. Ridiculous. Lockett and DK, even though that Seattle offense is supposedly not super high volume passing, both of them are getting a good amount of targets this season. And Evan Ingram is good.
Yeah.
But the concerns with JP's team are his running backs, and they're kind of like opposite concerns because David Johnson is super involved in his offense, but just not very efficient because his O-line sucks, and just that offense hasn't been very good this season.
Yeah.
Whereas James White is not very involved in the offense, but whenever he does get touches, he's pretty good with them, gets a lot of touchdowns. So he's got to hope that those guys can hopefully bounce back and put his team over the top.
Yeah, I mean, just talking about JP, I mean, he scored 113 points. One of his players didn't even play in D-Jack. So that's pretty dang impressive. All right, let's move in here to Logan, who was a loser this week in this matchup. We called a bounce back week early sided, and I'm sure we both agreed. For Devontae this week, he had a bit of a bounce back, 7 for 9, 106 yards and a tutty. Not quite to the form we saw last season with Devontae quite yet. But we're getting there, I believe. Most of his role players did pretty good. A little, some injury concern with Josh Jacobs, but Lev Bell did well enough. But I will say that not a whole lot came from his flex. We got not even a total of 10 points between Will Fuller and LaShawn McCoy. Some slack being picked up by Vance McDonald, who gets 2 TDs from Mason Rudolph. We immediately see his usage change with the backup QB in. I'll have to monitor that going forward. And the only last thing I have to say about this team here is that I don't know if I said it last week or maybe I said it off the show, but I do think that every single time that Logan plays a game and isn't starting Robert Anderson, whether he wins or not, it should be completely invalid. And all I'm saying is that this is karma for not starting Robbie Anderson, who got over 10 points on your bench.
If you started him, you would have won.
There we go. Next matchup.
All right, and then getting to the alphas here, we have Jake Logan, and looking at his team, the thing that just sticks out like a sore thumb, he scored the most points this week, and that was pretty much all thanks to the Patriots defense. 35 points against the Dolphins. The matchup was amazing for them, and they cleaned up like they should, but that defense looks pretty deadly this season. Right. $35 is a lot to spend on them, but it looks like it could be worth it.
Yep.
Zeke, everything's pretty much back to normal after he was holding out all off season. Looks like he should be pretty solid this season. Good things for Jake are just all of his starters performed at least what you'd want them to do. Like, Amari Cooper didn't get a lot of involvement, but he scored a touchdown, saving his day.
Yeah.
The only concern is depth. His bench is pretty gnarly, which you can kind of see because he's dropped most of the people on it since the week ended. Adrian Peterson and Rashad Penny both got touchdowns, so their week looks good, but still not very involved or efficient. So, as long as his starters can keep doing like they do, that's good for him, but yeesh.
Yeah, my only thing with Jake's team is like Rashard Penny specifically is kind of what I'm looking at. I guess not super involved, but still 10 carries and a reception. But I think he saw his uptick in usage after Carson fumbled the ball again. So it's more of a question of was Penny are they saying, well, we can't trust the ball with Carson, or was Carson just getting some of that taken away as punishment? I think probably maybe closer to the latter, but at least something to watch for Jake's team here. Okay, and then so I have Tyler's team here. Tyler, basically his entire week was sunk when Drew Brees got injured. If he lost half point, say Drew Brees had an average of 20, 25 points, that puts him at like nearly 130 points, which is good enough to beat almost anyone this week. So you can't be too upset if you're Tyler here. Yeah, good weeks from Chubb and Montgomery. Montgomery had, I believe, only had slightly more snaps this game than he did in the previous game, but had 3 times as many carries in those snaps, which is a great what you want to see for Montgomery after we were a little bit worried about what was happening after that first game there. Good weeks from Julio and Ty. TJ, though, did come back to earth for you and the Detroit Lions there. One for only 3 targets. I didn't watch that game either, but 3 targets does not seem like a lot at all.
Yeah.
I guess I would have thought he would have gotten more usage. But who knows? Yeah, I don't have a whole lot of other things to say for Tyler's team besides for it's a pretty dang solid roster that just got the rug pulled out from underneath it because of the Brees injury. Mm-hmm. Alrighty, and then up to the last matchup of last week.
Yeah, and that is my matchup with Devin when I easily cleaned up against him. Just, Devin, put up a fight next time, dude.
Wow.
Looking at the positives for my team, Dalvin Cook looks amazing. Plays amazing, scores a lot of points, super happy with him. And then both Hollywood Brown and Terry McLaurin are looking like they're probably the number ones in their offense and pretty productive, so that's pretty good. Negatives, though, O.J. Howard. Oof. Good thing I traded for him and totally fleeced Logan first week, right? Yeah. And then also injuries are super rough, like with Drew Brees getting injured, don't know what that'll do to Kamara. And then Michael Gallup getting injured, too. He was looking like he was pretty breaking out this season.
Yeah.
And then the Niner running backs. It's just kind of difficult to figure out what to do with them because, I mean, obviously Matt Breida is considered the starter, but Raheem Mostert outproduced him.
He looks like the better player. just on the field.
But they both look amazing because they're both awesome and way better than Tevin Coleman.
Yes, that's it. They both look better. I don't know if they look awesome. They both look better than Tevin Coleman for sure.
Yeah, so... pulled out a win, and felt pretty good.
Yeah, I wrote here in our notes, my first note for Devin was that he should have won this week, and I see that you besmirched that.
I wrote lies.
Yeah, but some injuries, injuries to Alshon sunk that week pretty much for him, unfortunately. Well, sunk, but he could have... If Alshon doesn't get injured, he probably wins this matchup.
But then Ertz would have done worse, and Carson would have done better. If Breeze didn't get hurt, then I would have won, or Gallup didn't hurt, I still would have won. So, anyone can say that kind of thing.
Yes. Kenny G started in the Lions. Well, you like to see usage from him. He's, I guess, I don't know, maybe I don't know if this is a popular opinion, but I thought it would be a bit more of a split role, but in the Lions wide receiver core, but it seems like Kenny G really is becoming the feature this season so far, which is good. He's probably the best player there. Mm-hmm. And then Gurley is getting the volume, 16 carries for only 63 yards. Not a whole lot here, but gets the touchdown to put him over the top. Gets a couple receptions there as well. Getting enough usage to be startable. Definitely not getting the usage that you want from the 101 quite yet. But I've said enough about that.
The 101.
Alrighty, and that was our week in review. And so let's get to our week 3 preview.
The last game within the division to start the season.
That's true. That is just the big one. And we'll start off here with Rotlack, and I'll start off here with Greg versus Justin. Just looking at the teams this week, I don't have a whole lot of matchups that I like on Justin's side of the ball, which is unfortunate for him. Listen, in my eyes. Let me get to the game here. Yeah, I'm not loving... Cooks and Landry this week, nor am I loving Ingram super much. The only matchup I really think is good for the entire team was the Jags defense, which we saw last night, 16 points, not too bad at all. Like I mentioned earlier...
Jesus. Did you see the Jags got 9 sacks?
Yeah.
Mariota. Oof.
And like I was saying earlier, Damon Williams might not even play this week, or if he does, it's just going to be super limited, I think, with the knee injury. Didn't practice today, being Friday. And he, like I said earlier, he doesn't even have the real backup running backs for that team, the real handcuffs. Yeah, I think that's kind of it I have on Justin's side here. Yeah. All right, and then moving over to Greg's side of the ball, like I was saying, I think that this will probably be the first good, or this should be a better week for Miles Sanders, I think. Although the defensive line for the Lions was pretty scary last season, so we'll have to see about that, see if he can finally have his first real breakout of the season. Pretty much all the rest of Greg's players are healthy and ready to go, besides for the fact that all of Mixon's offensive line has been completely decimated. Everyone else seems healthy. He's been dealing with some early season injury concerns, but everything seems to be going the right way for him so far. Besides for David Njoku, who I believe is still in concussion protocol.
He broke his wrist.
Oh shoot, that's right. He broke his wrist too.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god, I can't believe I forgot about that. Wow, poor David Njoku. But he picks up Jason Witten instead, who should probably get a touchdown this week against Miami.
He's gotten 2 in a row so far.
Yeah, I mean, it should continue this week. I don't think his streak's going to continue for very long, but if it's going to continue, it's probably against Miami.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm not entirely sure who I think is going to win this week. I see that Justin is favored now that the Jags put up 16 points. I might give a slight edge to Greg, but I don't know. What were you thinking?
I'm definitely leaning Greg here because this is my upset of the week.
I'm upset. I'm upset.
Louder!
I'm upset.
Louder!
I'm upset.
Say it louder!
I'm upset.
Because, Justin currently favored 60% to 40%, but as you said, lots of bad matchups. Christian McCaffrey, pretty concerning now that he's got maybe a backup quarterback with him.
Right.
Don't know how that will work for him. Mark Ingram, if the Kansas City Chiefs go off, they might put in their pass-catching running back in Gus Edwards, not anyone stupid that Devin might have on his team. And then Jared Goff on the road is always not as good as he is at home.
Very true.
I'm feeling Greg. Let's go, boy.
Alrighty, and then you have the next matchup.
The next matchup, probably an even closer matchup than the last one. We got some 2 high-quality teams here in Levi facing Dylan. Oh, wait, no, Dylan's team. Right, Levi wins. Move on. Just kidding. Levi had an okay night by Derrick Henry last night. He salvaged it with a touchdown. Otherwise, didn't really look that good. But then Eckler, on the other hand, is super scary for Dylan to go against. He's been going off so far this season.
Yeah.
And then the highest over-under this week is the Kansas City Chiefs versus the Baltimore Ravens.
Yep.
Levi's got both Kelsey and Watkins. That's very scary.
It's a real shame that game is in prime time. That should have been flexed into prime time or something like that. Like,
I don't think you can flex games this early. But
at least play. Well, yeah, I guess you probably can. But make it like America's Game of the Week or something.
Yeah, that's brutal.
Yeah.
But then Dylan, really the only way I see him winning this game is if Kittle goes off, because last week the Pittsburgh defense did give up 2 touchdowns to Will Dissly, so I could see Kittle maybe going off while they try and bring Minka Fitzpatrick in. Maybe, some busted coverages happen for him or something. And then he needs Adam Thielen to just go off against Oakland. Not a super scary defense, and Thielen has some speed, so we could see it happening. Yep. But not betting on Dylan, that's for sure.
I'm going to do an audible. I'm going to throw in a mailbag question.
Okay.
For the analysis of this matchup. We got not even a question. It's just an essay I'm going to read. And it says, okay, to whom it may concern, yes, I am an 0-2 team going up against the 2-0 highest scorer in our league, but that is shortchanging this matchup. This is a matchup of the 2 most recent champions of the league. Last year we split the series with a combined score of 245.56 to 227.02. This is the defending champion, owner of the Try Hard Chalice's last stand. An 0-3 start would all but doom my hopes of making the playoffs, but a win this week and I am a single game back from the division lead. Yes, right now Levi has an 88% chance of victory, but who doesn't love an underdog story? Perhaps even an upset of the week? Nudge, nudge. Okay. we've got plenty of underdogs that have beaten the odds. Sure. Carlos Hyde is proving the haters wrong with 5.8 yards per carry. Adam Thielen had a $500 scholarship to college and finished last year as a wide receiver 1. Darren Waller battled drugs. DeAndre Hopkins defeated the Lobster. James Conner beat cancer. In the words of the future QB1 in all of fantasy, RELAX, relax. Best, Dylan Mickanen, manager of Top Progression Candidate, defending champion of the annual McCann Fantasy Football League, current owner of the Triad Chalice, and former owner of Cam Newton.
Yeah,
Were you moved by those words? I was moved.
the only hope that inspired in me is that maybe since Dylan has removed the succubus that is Cam Newton, his team will just have a weight lifted from their shoulders and just bond together like some team cutting Hugh Jackson as their head coach and then going for a winning record for the rest of the games. And you know what? You're still going to lose, Dylan.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, Dylan, we all know that in our league, the most important position is kicker, and your kicker scored 1 point this week. You lost. It's over.
Jeez.
Alrighty, let's take a trip now to the Stetson Stoners. And I'll start off here with our matchup of Logan versus Lassie. If I can find it here. Alrighty. Logan versus Lassie. We have some fun matchups this week. We have Lev versus the Pats. Lev Bell versus the Pats, which probably be a less positive game script. And Lev hasn't had a whole lot going for him so far this season, but he does have amazing. He's had like basically been force feeding in the ball on a lot of these possessions. But he also has Dak versus the Dolphins, which could be a game buster right there.
Maybe they bench him by halftime.
And like I mentioned earlier, Robbie Anderson is burning a hole in Logan's bench with the whole quarterback situation. I don't totally blame him for sitting him, but they only have so many people that are actual like usable wide receivers there. I wouldn't hate playing him. No, this week I wouldn't play him, but just in general, not against the Pats. And then looking over the Lassie's side, yesterday or the other day when I was making my notes, and it's still true. Okay, he is currently sitting Flash Gordon in favor of starting another tight end in Greg Olsen in his flex. Yes, it's against Arizona, but I'm not sure that Lassie realized we have Luke Falk throwing him the ball. So I do like as a quarterback, but he's not a healthy Cam Newton by any means. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess my other big takeaway here, or big point here, is the Bucks defense did shut down Christian McCaffrey last week, and it gets to go up against Saquon Barkley this week for Lassie. Different offenses, and we'll have to see what Danny Dimes is going to do in his first real start. But I don't love Saquon in this week, and so I'm not seeing the super crazy upside, besides for maybe Mike Evans on Lassie's side. Mm-hmm. So I'm thinking I'm probably going to give a slight edge to Logan here, just looking over things again. But I don't know. There's some really bad matchups on both sides.
Yeah, I was just about to say, I would not be surprised if this was the lowest total score of the week.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we'll see what Dak can do, but besides for that, yeah.
Yeah, no one else really like pops out to the page as a weak winner for either of these teams.
Right.
Yeah, but, you know, Lassie's on too. Cornered animal game. He's got to come out swinging. Or
yeah,
else
I'm not sure that translates to fantasy as opposed to real football. But
yeah, it's the same thing. But moving on to the next matchup, we have your barn burner projected with Jake Pond.
That's true.
Right now, he's favored for the most points in the league, right?
Mm-hmm.
Betting that. Yeah, with... oh, wait, no. Levi's projected for more. Sorry.
But that game's a wash.
Yeah, but with 133 points to your 122, you guys got the matchup of the quarterbacks in Patrick Mahomes and Lamar Jackson.
Yep.
That should be pretty entertaining to watch, both in real life and fantasy.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say your wide receivers are pretty much a push. Like, you do have the best in Odell Beckham Jr., but all of JP's have been really productive so far this season, and just with the uncertainty in Juju,
yep.
Don't really know. You definitely got a more productive tight end so far this season in Mark Andrews, and with that matchup, that could be pretty deadly. However, the real edge in this matchup, I think, goes to JP in the defense position, because he's got those Cowboys going against Miami, who just gave up 30 to the Dolphins, and gave up double digits to the Ravens. It's pretty scary.
Yeah, I mean, the Ravens against the Dolphins scored, I think, 14 points. The Patriots, as we know, scored 35. Hopping close to the 14th this week. Yeah, my matchup, yeah, I agree with pretty much everything you said, although I mentioned earlier, I do think this is, I really hope this is the breakout week for Dante Freeman. I really, really hope. I want it to be so badly. And I also really wanted Marlon Mack on the injury report this morning. But he's not, which also ruins my chances a little bit. So if I'm picking a team this week, I'm definitely picking JP. But, all right.
I definitely think you have a shot though with
Oh yeah,
with Lamar.
yeah.
So.
I mean, like last week, I thought it was like when we were picking the games. I think I might have said myself, but I was like, wow, this is probably like 50-50 for me and last week. This week, I think it's like 45-55 for JP. If I had to guess. All right, let's go into the alpha, second last matchup of the week. We'll do your matchup, you versus Jake here. As we mentioned just a minute ago, we have a stack against the Miami Dolphins in Ezekiel Elliott and Amari Cooper. With Michael Gallup out, we'll see if Amari is even more of the future wide receiver this week.
Xavier Howard locking down.
Yeah. And then looking else, Josh Allen should have a decent enough week against Cincinnati, I think, whose defense has been better than expected this season so far.
Mm-hmm.
But should have a good enough week. And those are some of the big points for Jake's team. On your side of the ball, I don't love a whole lot of any of the matchups here. The only, we're just looking at the color scheme here. The only green matchup is O.J. Howard and bum ass.
Bounce back game.
Bum. Can you imagine starting O.J. Howard in 2019?
Can you imagine when he's going to be the highest scoring tight end this week?
No, I actually cannot do
Because
that.
Frankie, he's totally had to block all the D lines of the teams he's playing. Now the Giants suck, so now he can actually go out for routes.
Uh-huh.
That's the narrative,
Uh-huh.
bro.
Well, I'm hoping for a big week from Marquise Hollywood Brown and myself. Hopefully, we both are beneficiaries of that.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, I'll just let you, I guess, take away anything else on your team.
Yeah, it's spooky. Gonna be honest here, especially with Kamara losing Breeze.
Yeah.
I definitely needed him to go off to feel confident about this, and then Carson Wentz with all his weapons dying. Really, no one else on waivers that I'd rather play though. If Leonard Fournette was bad last night, I would feel so much more confident.
Yeah.
Than
I mean, he was
stupid
bad
thing
last
happened.
night.
Yeah. God. Ended the game with like 3 yards per carry. Or
Yeah.
no, 4 yards per carry.
Mhm.
Totally didn't deserve that.
Yeah. Alrighty.
Anyways, and now our final matchup, which is also our matchup of the week.
Oh, you know it.
Because both of these teams lost in the Alphas division last week, and they're looking for a bounce back. Devin is pretty much all in on that Lions-Eagles game.
Uh-huh.
He's got Kerryon Johnson, Kenny Golladay, Nelson Aguilar, Zach Ertz, and the Philadelphia Eagles defense all playing for him.
Yeah.
So it's kind of weird. He's hoping for the Lions on his team to go off, but also his defense to go off too. Don't really know what his plan is there. It's lucky for him that Marlon Mack is back for this week. Or not back, but not injured, because other than that, he'd have to start some pretty rough guys. And it also sucks for Devin, because both Devin Singletary and Alshon Jeffrey probably won't play this week.
Yeah, I got the report for Devin Singletary this morning. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Whereas on Tyler's side, Nick Chubb and David Montgomery have been pretty solid this season. It'll be exciting to watch Nick Chubb and Todd Gurley both play on Sunday night to pretty much decide this matchup.
Yeah.
I mean, Tyler's got some great wide receivers in Julio Jones and T.Y. Hilton. The biggest concern with Tyler's team right now is just why is he playing Peyton Barber over Mecole Hardman?
I have no idea.
Like, dude, I'm pretty sure Mecole outscored him last week anyway. And then this week he should have a super good game. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, like I like pretty much everything on Tyler's team this week. I mean, it says that the only negative matchup for him this week is Julio Jones against the Indianapolis Colts, but Darius Leonard's going to be out. I know he's a DN linebacker, but I'd like to have a little bit more time for Matt Ryan not getting as much pressure in his face to actually find his receivers with Darius Leonard out. Everything else I like on his team besides for Peyton Barber. Like, I guess that maybe he's like maybe just wants like a very like established floor or something. But I don't know. Like, I feel like Mecole Hardman has enough of a floor this week too, because it's probably going to be a very high scoring game as Vegas predicts. So yeah,
I could easily be wrong though. I mean, Tyler knows what he's doing.
Yeah, that's true. Alrighty, and I think that's it for all our matchups. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty. Oh, matchup of the week. We should probably pick them. Who do you got?
Oh, you pick first.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, I said pretty much like everything from Tyler, and I know that Mac has been apparently like down. People have been saying, like the reporters in Indianapolis have been saying he's been downplaying his injury all week, and then the fact that he's practicing this week doesn't mean, or practicing today at least, still isn't like an amazing sign for me. And if news does turn south this weekend, I guess he could always sub in Nyheim Hines, which I wouldn't do personally, or I'd love to do personally. But I'm thinking I'm going to go Tyler this one.
I'll take Devin just because, that Lions-Eagles game is going to be a shootout where the Lions come out on top.
All right. it's in Ford Field, right?
No.
Oh, no, it's in Philly. Oh, dang. All right, well, we'll see about that. Alrighty, that was our weekly preview, and let's get in now to our mailbag. I read one earlier, one a little off book. I thought that it would fit better.
It fit the narrative.
And we'll go into one other question this week here. We have from Dylan again, who wrote in, what would the all-bum fantasy lineup look like? And he gave his lineup. At quarterback, Cam Newton. That's an obvious pick.
Yeah.
Running back 1, Carlos Hyde. I mean, he's been pretty good this season.
Yeah.
I don't know. Right, we're running back 2, Ito Smith. Correct. Wide receiver 3, Dante Feed Moncrief. Correct. 4, Dante Pettis, Mr. No, less. Oh, I think he's under 5 targets for the season for sure at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a good pick too. Wide receiver 3, Dede, 3 yards depth of target Westbrook. He got his quarterback's injured. I don't know what he want from him. Tight end, the easiest pick so far besides Raymond Kenyon is OJ bum ass Howard. And he has this flex of the OG bum Nelson Aguilar. Kicker Adam Vinatieri. Okay, the guy's like 80 years old. Give him a break. He missed a couple kicks. I don't know. He's not a bum. He's one of the best kickers of all time.
Yeah, but now he's a bum.
Oh my. Okay. Defense. Dolphins defense.
I feel like it's rude to. No one expected anything from them.
Right. Yeah. With bum. Well, yeah. With bum, it's either like they're negatively impacting you or another player or their team, but like. All right, I don't know.
I'd say the Broncos defense. They got Bradley Chubb and Von Miller, and they have 0 sacks this season.
Is that true? That's really
that's
bad.
a bum defense.
That's really bad. Yeah. So would you make any other changes to a bum squad?
I would definitely sub out Carlos Hyde, throw in some Kenyon Drake.
Yeah, that's a great pick.
Yeah. Just looking throughout the draft board here. Corey Davis, top tier bum.
Yeah, but I was expecting him to be a bum, so I wasn't even thinking about that.
He was drafted right after Dante Moncrief.
Yeah, yeah. You know who else is a bum? Someone who hasn't even shown up to work yet. Melvin Gordon. He's a bum. Get him out of here.
At least he still supports his team, man.
Well, that's true.
Positive.
Yeah. I wouldn't know what that's like to have a player not be holding out and then also be supportive of a team. Although Lev Bell was supportive of James Conner, just not of the organization as a whole.
Yeah, there's some high quality bums.
I'm trying to think. I don't know any other kickers who have done really poorly this season. They're still on rosters. Adam Vinatieri. I can't with good conscience keep Adam Vinatieri on the bum list.
Okay, we'll have our producer go and look up the top ranked or the bottom ranked kickers on the season. I mean, Mason Crosby only has 7 points. I don't know. Adam Vinatieri has 4 points on the season. He's a bum.
How many has he missed? That's the real question. He has. I'm gonna say He's missed. Jesus Christ. He's missed 3 extra points.
Mm-hmm.
And 2 field goals. Bro, he's 46 years old. Jesus Christ.
The Colts are working out other kickers. They worked out Young Ho.
Didn't he? Oh, he was on the Chargers last season, or 2 seasons ago.
And he was on the AAF.
Yeah, he was. He did well in the AAF, from what I remember. Yeah, he's a bum. All right, and there's bums. Hey, Father Time is undefeated.
Except by Tom Brady.
Well, he's not 46 yet. Alrighty, I think that's everything.
Uh-huh.
Let's wrap this up. All right, thank you all for listening to another episode of the Anglo McCann Fantasy Football Podcast. I have been Frankie.
I'm Cam.
And next week we'll come at you with a Week 3 recap, a Week 4 preview, final week of division play. So let's buy some wins, boys. Good luck to all of you in your matchup this week.
Good luck to the manager of the week for setting his best lineup and still only scoring 69 points this week.
And
my shot.
We'll see you then.